Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon the series Gold and Silver episode talk. So, another one of them filler episodes. This time we're focusing on the Pokemon known as Hoot Hoot. A Pokemon very good for the Ghost type gym in Generation 4. Because in Generation 4 we have abilities. And Morty's Pokemon really only know Hypnosis. And, you know, Hoot Hoot has the Insomnia and is normal type, so immune to the Ghost type moves. So really all they can do is either curse themselves to death or Sucker Punch, which doesn't really do much from a Gengar. So Hoot Hoot is great, but that Pokemon evolutionary line has been ruined for me, but eventually, probably more towards the end of this season, we'll get into why. I will most certainly explain why, but that's more for later, that's not for now. Anyway, so, we're lost because Ash took the lead, and then Ash takes the lead again, and we are now super lost. However, it is now nighttime, so spooky stuff starts happening. However, a Hoot Hoot saves us, belonging apparently to Gary. So yes, Gary returns again, and the reason that we were able to catch up to Gary, who left way earlier, was because of the fact that Gary's just been too busy catching Pokemon. So then Gary leaves with his Hoot Hoot, and the gang now have to search for their own Hoot Hoot in order to be able to make it through the forest. And they find one, however, this one likes Misty, and afterwards runs away, and when Ash gets close, starts hitting Ash. So eventually we make it to this weird place, and we meet a woman named Hagatha, who actually owns the Hoot Hoot, and she actually has a service where she rents out Hoot Hoot, which is how Gary got one, in order for trainers to get through the forest. Now, the way that I would see it is this business would work a lot better if you were at the entrance of the forest, but whatever. However, the problem is she ain't got any more Hoot Hoots except this one. This one is, he's a little bit off. Because of the fact that the last time this Hoot Hoot had to help a trainer get through the forest, the trainer returned here like 3 days later. So, yeah, this Hoot Hoot is not really a good one. But Ash isn't convinced, and the thing is that Hoot Hoot only likes women. So we can still work with this Hoot Hoot if Misty commands it in that sense. So we go through the forest with this Hoot Hoot, and spooky things start happening, which turns Hoot Hoot into a scared Hoot. And also Team Rocket is here as well, and they don't see all the spooky things happening, which I actually find funny because it's like, okay, the animators ran out of, you know, budget, so they can only show it once. Like, it's like, what happens if the animators took away the animation of the spooky things? What would the episode look like then? So Hoot Hoot doesn't want to help until Misty asks, and then Hoot Hoot tries to help, and it eventually works. However, Ash is kind of done with Hoot Hoot's BS, but it doesn't really work, and then Misty asks Hoot Hoot, and it inspires Hoot Hoot, so that works. But then Team Rocket steal Pikachu, but this time Ash grabs Pikachu and gets drawn in, which that's a strong rope. Anyway, Ash then gets slammed to a tree, so that didn't really work out, and then we get the motto. However, as they try to escape on a boat, on a rope, the rope breaks, and so Pikachu returns to Ash. And then afterwards, we are about to go into battle with Team Rocket, but Team Rocket then, through illusion, see a Dragonite, so they go after that one. However, then a lot of Ashes start popping up as well, so who's the real one? Well, Pikachu finds out the real one in a painful way, in a way, but still works. However, then Misty gets surrounded by a bunch of bugs, and Hoot Hoot wants to run, and then Ash like, what is wrong with you, okay? Misty has stuck out her neck for you, and now you want to run away? No, you help her. So then Hoot Hoot gets rid of it, and then we learn that it's a bunch of Ghost-type Pokemon, so now we have to fight off the Ghost-type Pokemon. And then afterwards, we make it out of the forest. However, it looks like we are back where we started, but don't worry about it, because this is Hagatha's twin sister, Nagatha. And so we give Nagatha the Hoot Hoot, and that's, I guess, how Hoot Hoot goes back to Hagatha for other trainers. And then afterwards, we head off, continuing on our journey to Violet City. And overall, this episode was fine. I do like the explanation of like the Hoot Hoot being able to see through ghosts, which actually is an explanation that we get later on. So I do like that they start that off early on. I also like the fact that we get to see the use of Foresight, by the way. That is, I think, actually what this was. They use the move Foresight, which will become more important later on once we get to Ecruteak City. But overall, I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as the last episode, but who knows? I feel like there are a lot more worse filler episodes in the future. But anyway, so let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. With that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if you done so already, turn notifications, don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. And I'll see you guys next time for some flower power, baby. Bye.